Salad or Dolly, threw a great party. We all drank Bacardi, it got kinda gnarly. We're light as a feather, we're tougher than leather. Together we're weirder together.
Welcome to Weirder Together. I am Ione Sky.
And I'm Ben Lee.
And we're still here.
We're here, we're weird. Get used to it.
Yeah, baby.
Glad to be back. Glad you're back from Melbourne.
Yep, I'm done. I'm wrapped with my part of filming. Can we say where it was filmed?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. We're not even mentioning the movie. Yes, enough. Let's. I'm not going to be beholden. The job's over. I'm not going to be beholden to these ridiculous constraints anymore. I have stories to tell. I have songs to sing. You can't keep a free bird pinned down.
I know. This was a film, filmed on film, which was fabulous.
How cool.
And it really felt like, I don't know if it was because we filmed on actual film or the way it was shot on location with night shoots, and I don't know, it felt like the old days for me. There was behind the scenes drama, there was night shoots, and I don't know, there was just something about it, and I really can't put my finger on it, but it felt like the old days of filming.
Now, how much do you think your current revisiting of the Stephen King oeuvre is contributing to this nostalgic sense of, you know, the time and a place you were at when you were...
There was a bit of a crossover. I mean, I've had that before with films where, for example, I did a really interesting film called Mind Walk based on a book called The Tao of Physics.
Fritjof Capra.
Exactly. And there was some funny, like, connections there. What a random book to have read. I had just read it. And I was like 21, or I was really young when I did
that was like pre The Secret, quantum mechanics, spirituality, manifestation, kind of blueprint stuff in that book.
Well, it showed a connection between physics and a kind of spirituality. But it was just bizarre, such a random book to have read, and then do this movie where I played Liv Ullmann's daughter, and that she's, you know, Swedish royalty actress. So that was phenomenal. But that was sort of an interesting coincidence. Anyway, this was fun because I've been treating myself like you treat a teenager who hasn't gotten into reading. What do you give them to get them into reading? Stephen King.
Oh, man.
So even though I am fairly well read, I've, like maybe many people, sort of slowed down. Maybe it was having kids or the internet or whatever it is.
I would say the internet might have something to do with it. I'm just going to hazard a guess. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I don't like to. I always hate. I'm the type of person like, oh, this is happening. Trump. Oh, it's not going to be as bad as we think. And then, or COVID. No, that's going to end soon. It won't be as long as we think. The internet doesn't really ruin you. No, it won't. It doesn't. I don't like alarmist things.
We can be realists without being alarmists, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I am learning to be a realist without being an alarmist. But in any case, I gave myself a Stephen King book.
You're back with the King.
I'm back with the King. And it was called Hearts in Atlanta, a very kind of, because I've read most of the early days, the classics, and kind of not so much, this was in 90s Stephen King, but it was great. And it definitely got me into reading it. And so I'm reading it on the set, and the director is like, what book is that? And I said, I wasn't embarrassed because I don't find Stephen King embarrassing. I was more just like, oh, you won't know this one. And he was like, oh my God, without sounding douchey, he was like, yeah, I know Stephen King because he did an adaptation or for some reason.
This is Weirder Together podcast. There should be no shame in the name drop here.
That's
Come
true.
on.
Yeah. So the cool thing is, one of the details I liked in the script was this character, the little boy. It's a horror movie, and there's a great detail where the little boy is reading Cujo. And the producers and the Sony Pictures or something were like, I don't know if we can afford that. We don't want to buy the rights. Because not only do you have to, of course, buy the rights to music, but I believe things like that. And he was like, oh, no, I know Stephen King. And so I think, fingers crossed, that is all true. And that I'm a paranoid person. I don't know why. I was like, the way I grew up with a drug smuggling stepdad or something, I tend to not believe people are telling the truth, but I think he is. And
Do you feel like this whole experience brought you closer to the people of Melbourne, to the spirit of Melbourne, or is it still like is it an amorphous thing you are yet to really grasp and comprehend?
Well, yes, I do feel, I don't know. I still am getting to know Melbourne. It's some place to kind of learn. I mean, Australia in general, Australian people in general. I think one of the easier ways to learn the difference is seeing how people parent in different countries, and that gives you an idea of the differences to America. As far as Melbourne versus Sydney.
Wait, I really do want to get into this. Did you notice any parenting differences from Melbourne to Sydney?
No. But from Australia to America, yes.
Sure. Oh, you do? What do you notice?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, it's more old-fashioned, and like one of the examples I already gave, I believe, was this little baby being carried across a room and the mom feeling like she had to say, oh, the princess, the queen, oh boy, look at she's a little princess. Like an embarrassment that we would think, oh, this little baby's getting a certain treatment.
Oh, you sense tall poppy syndrome with a baby.
With the parenting.
You better cut that baby down. We do not want that baby to get too confident.
It's embarrassing to sort of be like, oh, like showing something as too good or too kind of like
special.
Yeah. That was something I noticed. And my friend was sort of noticing that because she's just come back from San Francisco, and she was noticing in school there was a difference. She could see it by being away. But there's a politeness. The new daily is all about French parenting has sort of softened and become more American.
Oh, right. And more feelings-based or something.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Any more segues? You want to segue way away from Stephen King into Melbourne?
Oh, did you have more to say about Stephen King?
No, I didn't. I like you.
But you drop such pearls that we can't leave them unexplored. We have to like dig deeper into them.
You segued out of Stephen King.
But I segued into something that was interesting. You were saying you were talking about parental differences.
That was interesting. And so, like Melbourne, I can't. So because Sydney is such a shower, and so is Melbourne, but meaning that you can take anybody can come into town and just plop them in Sydney, and you don't even have to say, oh, go to this place or go to that place. They'll walk 2 blocks and find something beautiful looking or some good food or something interesting. Like New York City in a way. It like shows you right away, and the weather's warm and whatever it is. So you're kind of hugged by it. Whereas Melbourne, I feel like I need to kind of hang with someone who lives there a little more.
Sure.
I do see the Euro vibes, though. Not all the time, but occasionally I'll walk down a certain street and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is what they mean by saying it's got a bit of a Europe going on.
Now, do you think your re-embrace of reading is in part due to Melbourne's intellectualism as opposed to the superficiality of the Sydney populace?
Maybe. Did
you feel smarter down there?
Do people feel a little smarter?
I think they feel smart. They feel like they're smarter. They might be smarter.
Do you know?
They spend more time indoors intellectually arguing with each other than we do. We're taking walks in a park. We're doing picnics.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you think like people who work out a lot and are sporty, there's a kind of prejudice or an idea that they're meatheads and they're not as smart as people? We had an interesting conversation with a friend of ours about pretty people, that you may rely on your looks and not develop other sides to yourself, which I think is a little bit rough. But people do assume if you're kind of young and pretty, you're not going to be that smart.
Yeah, we were talking about the idea that people often dismiss young female musicians, performers, if they're beautiful, as, oh, they just got their position because they're a pretty face. And they are not acknowledging that because of the innate misogyny of the music industry and of media, for women, being pretty is the price of admission. You don't even get a shot at a music career unless you have a pretty face. That's just the reality of how sort of tilted things are towards superficiality, especially regarding women. And then, so women come into the music industry and then to be dismissed for being pretty is like, it's such a mindfuck.
I felt smarter in Portland at one of my parents. They have some land in the country in Oregon. And in Portland, they had, before Airbnb, I guess you would just get like a summer rental. And it was like clearly an intellectual family. And staying in that house, I felt smarter. And sometimes on the East Coast, like in Maine, or it's certain houses. And if I get the vibes of the family and they're kind of, professors or something, I really will suck up the aura of those vibes.
Get into that academic cosplay.
Exactly. And so speaking of academic stuff again, yeah, being also you get the feeling if you're a young woman that people don't want you to be smarty pants. They want you to just sit and look good and sit there and sit at the table with the men. And I still was in that generation.
Well, it's like easy. You can then put people in, you can pigeonhole them, and it makes it easy to interpret them, and you know what their place is, and they should know what their place is. And people that, it's the natural thing of things that are multidimensional are harder for us to pigeonhole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So speaking of multidimensional, 2charm last night at the Enmore, opening for Slater.
That was really fun. My little brother, who's 30, he's visiting from Eagle Rock from Los Angeles. And 2charm have another band.
So, yeah, 2charm come from Cub Sport. It's
That's
Tim
right.
and Sam from Cub Sport.
And Cub Sport has its own thing going on. And 2charm is like a version of it. In any case, it was the most incredible show. And my little brother said he had never seen anything like it. And he sees shows all the time.
Yeah, it was so cool because firstly, they were opening for Slater and it was a very queer crowd. And every time I'm at an event that's got a queer audience, I'm always like, God, the vibe is so much more inviting. Like you don't have any of that macho pushy kind of bullshit that goes on at rock shows. So it was great vibe, great atmosphere. And 2charm have just created this whole alternate universe that they present on stage. It's got a lot of choreography and dance. There's no band on stage. It's all to track, but it's got a bit of like Right Said Fred, a bit of, probably the best comparison is the Pet Shop Boys because it's just got that pop craftsmanship with the character type thing that they're doing too.
And they're really the Pep Shop Boys because it's as if the Pet Shop Boys took peptides.
Hey!
Because they're very fit.
Yeah, it's like the Pet Shop Boys for the OnlyFans generation.
And when we say dancing, it's not dancing like really big moves. It's great choreography, but quite subtle. And they're telling a whole story. It's one for the ladies because it is a bit, dare I say, heated rivalry, only in that it's like push and pull of they are a couple, but in real life, their story is really incredible because they're both very Christian upbringing, and then they fell in love in high school, and it was just a very just heroic and fabulous story.
And it's a very erotic show. It's about the eroticism of these two gay men.
Yes.
But there is something about it that...
And the push and pull is that heated rivalry thing, which is the kind of the yearning and then the almost getting there, but something coming in the way. And then finally, when you get together, it's such a yay. So they do this very subtle, exquisite, sort of telling of that story with no words, it's not over the top. It's almost
with great pop songs. Yeah.
With great pop songs. And if you're not, it's like it'll wash over you the eroticism, you know what I mean? And everyone can kind of interpret it how they want, but the women love it.
I think you hit the nail on the head, and I think the reason 2charm might become massive is because they are built for the female gaze. Like the Pet Shop Boys, the reality is, as amazing as that music is and was, and as hyper intelligent as they were as artists, I didn't hear many women hankering to get in the middle of the two of them. Whereas with 2charm, I think there's a full female fantasy element of gay men in it that, like, I know it's just I think a lot of young women are going to be absolutely gaga for 2charm.
I do too. Yeah, it was really, 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 really good.
Really good.
And that Enmore Theatre is just like, it's so, the visibility is incredible. Like the floor is just, the grading is just, it's like a perfect study. I hope they study it for other things because you literally can see the stage anywhere you're standing.
That being said, can we discuss the public humiliation ritual you created for me at the Enmore Theatre in my hometown of Sydney, where I am somewhat of a recognizable figure? What happened last night?
Well, after our Sunday roast at the pub, and then we watched 2charm, and we decided to stand and not sit up in the balconies and stand with the crowd, which is great because you're with the crowd and it's people watching and you're feeling it all and it's fun. Although I have to say, every time I'm in a crowd at a club or a show, I am the hallway, meaning that for some reason people can sense I'm nice, which I don't know if that's even true.
That is
and
true.
They use me as the person to say, excuse me, and as to walk from A to B, meaning like, when people are one or two or three people want to just go from the back to the front or the front, whatever they want to do through the crowd, I'm the person they beeline toward.
You radiate
it's
the
okay.
aura of allow me. Let me help you out.
Which is not, it's funny because it's not true. I'm kind of a grumpy. We just got our teeth cleaned. And literally I waited 5 minutes. It was like a lovely experience. I mean, lovely. It was easy as far as dentists go. And the dentist was great. It was fast. It was good. I was like kind of not super nice. Because of my reaction to the slight stress of getting.
So people misread you.
People misread me. I mean, I am nice, but I am really nice. But in any case, I don't know why I radiate. You're the one I'm going to say, can you walk over to the side so I can go through? So anyway, that's fine. But we're standing in the crowd. It's fun. And then for the in between, I was like, why don't we go upstairs and watch the next show from above? Because I was feeling lazy and wanting to
watch Slater from upstairs.
Watch Slater from upstairs. And it looked kind of chill on the side. Like it looked like from the ground, there wasn't many people upstairs. And there was no security guards. And it was like it's not a huge venue. And and it looked kind of relaxed. And so I'm walking, but then we got yelled at, which is not very, in some ways, it's not very Australian.
Look, it's profoundly Australian. If you break a rule in Sydney, you are going to get yelled at.
That's true.
Yeah, so I'm standing on the stairs and this security guy yelling at me in front of the whole
What did you
foyer.
say?
I said, you're absolutely right. Sorry, I thought because we were on the guest list, we could go up. And he just rolled his eyes at me and,
Wow. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It really looked chill. But
hey, it's okay. You know? It was a very colonial attitude. You come in with your American energy of swanning around. You can do what you want. And then to the actual Aussies.
Or very my mom, like she
true.
just, it's tell them it's Dono. Tell them it's me. Like my mom's not pretentious or what's the word, like entitled, but entitled maybe in her certain way. If she knows someone, it's usually in a humble way, like our friend had a coffee shop, so she's like, tell Gail, Gail will let you. And I'm like, no one gets to use the bathroom in this coffee shop, it's the rule. No, tell him you're Enid's daughter. I'm just like,
big Stassi Schroeder energy is what I'm hearing.
Oh, yeah. Stassi Schroeder. So Stassi, House of Stassi.
On Disney Plus Hulu.
I was saying it's like I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm trying to remind myself that it's not going to have the same vibes as Real Housewives vibes or Vanderpump Rules vibes.
Yeah, so for people who don't know, Stassi Schroeder was the original key cast member along with Jax Taylor from Vanderpump Rules, got cancelled in 2020, 21 for some, questionable / racist behavior. Comeback, redemption arc in full swing, created like a meta reality show called House of Stassi that's out now. And yeah, what are you feeling?
I'm seeing that she really does admire, I forgot her name, Call Her Daddy.
Oh, Alex Cooper.
Yeah, I don't know if she's kind of like leaning into, I've done this many times, so I'm not saying I'm above it or that it's even a bad thing, because I don't know if it is. But when you try to be like someone in the way you talk and your affectations and the way you even like move your face and stuff, I've noticed like certain people I've admired, I think I've like, collaged a way of being and talking over the years when I like the way someone does something. So I see that. I see she's got a bit of that going on. And I don't know, like it's the marriage thing. I want to understand more when she and her seemingly perfect sweetie pie husband, Beau, I knew his name. Yeah. I'm curious, like, their fights, it seems like she gets so intense that it's scary. And I don't know if they haven't shown it. Like, you remember when Kathy Hilton apparently did something.
Yeah, went mental in Aspen.
I was happy not to be shown Kathy Hilton going mental in Aspen that one time. But my imagination, I could imagine it and believe it. Terrifying. But Stassi Schroeder, I don't know I can't imagine how bad it is. But by the way Beau reacts, I imagine it's pretty bad.
It's really interesting. The thing I like about this show is that her cancellation is a big part of the subplot, I guess, to the show, a bit of background. And I do think great reality, she's a great reality show, what do you call it, artist? Performer, participant, cast member.
Sure.
And some of it is because I think you do want your core characters on a reality show to be morally questionable. All the things you don't like about Jax are what made him an amazing, person you couldn't stop watching. So I don't know. I think the criticism of these types of characters is a little bit besides the point, because we want them to be dicey and controversial.
No, I guess the thing is absolutely. I'm just saying I don't quite know. I can't quite see the villainous part, but I did like the part where she and her husband are at Hollywood Forever Cemetery having a date, and he says, "How do you show love to your friends and family?" And she was like, I don't know. And I thought that was interesting because clearly she does. Everybody loves her, and she is very likable as well. But it is funny to think, like, how does she, she is kind of a sort of prickly character or something.
Yeah, well, and the larger construct that this show exists in and addresses is you are naturally exploiting your family and friends and personal situation to drag them into a reality show. And is it possible to actually believe that it's healthy and good for people to be involved in when the whole thing, I don't think there are many people who would say they learned that shooting a reality show was like a healthy thing for them or a healthy dynamic.
But Katie, who's another character from Vanderpump Rules, has been brought back to create a little drama. And it's funny, I always thought these were not real friendships, but I guess they really were friends. And then they had a falling out, both sort of accusing the other of just being kind of self-involved and not.
Well, I think when Stassi got cancelled, the nature of cancellation and the collateral damage in the sense of people's private worlds are kind of interesting, because when our friends make mistakes when they're in private, we generally deal with it privately. When people make a very public mistake and one that's hurtful to people and offensive, often we're forced to define where we stand in relation to them. And I think that's very hard when I remember we had John Roderick on the podcast, remember at the festival, he came up and talked about, remember when he was Bean Dad? And he talked a lot about how just friends just not returning his calls and that kind of thing that changes overnight. And I think it's a pretty harrowing experience to go through.
Yeah, it's very harrowing. The only time I ever really Well, I've dropped people that I used to hang with Manson a little bit. I
Right,
would
yeah.
never hang with him again.
Yeah, that was
and-
before you knew any of what was really
yeah,
going on.
yeah. But I'm just saying, had I been, I don't know. Certain things are like a no, whatever. I'm not going to say no bueno because that is kind of cringy.
You know what I listened to on the treadmill yesterday? It was the craziest thing one of the craziest things I've ever listened to. Sometimes I like to listen to things that are like way outside my,
You're cool.
No, I just want to challenge
kidding.
myself and listen to things
no,
that are
I'm
been.
teasing.
I listened to Drea de Matteo's podcast. Drea. Did I say Dreo? Drea de Matteo. Now she's someone who got cancelled for refusing to get vaccinated.
Right.
And she had Ariel Pink, the musician who got cancelled for being at January 6th.
Oh my God.
On her podcast. And, I mean, these are not like the two brightest, sharpest tools in the shed, but they're both charismatic, interesting people. But I was, and watching it listening to it in parallel with the Stassi thing, I was thinking about how people who get cancelled, it becomes something they're obsessed with for the rest of their lives. Like it becomes like this major defining career and personal experience of like justification for every type of victim complex or any way they feel hard done by in the world. I don't know. It's like cancellation just becomes this like major rite of passage. And it was kind of interesting hearing these two cancelled people who seem to have like actually learnt nothing from their cancellations, just rigorously sort of argue how unjust their cancellations were and seemingly not have internalized any way they might have contributed to the situation.
I think Stassi seemed to
she's processed
work on it
right?
and process. Yeah. I saw something interesting with her sister, who's a very interesting character on the show. And then there's her husband's half-sister, who's Italian, I think. Italian?
Yeah, that sounds right.
So she has an Italian accent, but speaks almost perfect English. And I found it interesting, and I don't know if this was exactly right, but what I thought I was seeing was the sister being annoyed, and this is a very American thing, almost like, well, I can't understand her.
All right.
And almost this kind of, it's not racist, but it's an American thing of like assuming someone who has an accent while they speak English. Meanwhile, they speak another language entirely.
Right.
And they speak English.
Well, that's classic. It's xenophobia. It's anti-immigration. It's people from different places.
So it's just, I'm not saying she's xenophobic.
No, even with your own family, it is true though. Like I had that with my grandmother. My grandmother was, Russian was her first language. She could speak German. She spoke Yiddish. I think that was it. And English. English, she probably spoke the least fluently. I thought it was hilarious.
Well, it's adorable, but that's different to finding it adorable, which I think Beau finds his half-sister adorable, the way she says things. But it's finding it adorable is one thing, to assuming someone's not that bright, which is kind of, a judgment that I feel like sometimes. I'm not saying her sister is doing that, but it's like it came off a little bit like maybe she was, but I don't know if she was.
Would you be open to telling the story about your little text exchange with Sam Shelton this week? Because I just was talk about being humid with adorableness. This was amazing to me.
My friend had this great run of vacation pictures, and she's somebody who I don't have FOMO or resentment about their holidays.
Okay.
Which I have for a lot of other people. And I do find it, I've talked about this before on this podcast, like I find it interesting the people that rub you the wrong way with their Instagrams, and you're just like, they don't deserve that, and why can't I go to Italy, and all of that baloney. And then the other people where you're just so happy for them. So Sam is someone I'm so happy for, and she does take a lot of gorgeous vacations with her family, and it's for some reason.
You know what? Stephen Davis, producer and writer on Bob's Burgers, been there since the beginning, worked hard for it. Take a holiday.
I know.
Yeah,
and I'm just so
uncomplicated.
I'm just so happy for them, and it doesn't rub me the wrong way whatsoever. And so she had this whole one on safari in Africa and all these gorgeous pictures. And I was like, great run of pictures. And we were DMing, and I said, beautiful and expensive. And then I go to bed at night because I was doing voice to text. And of course, I never reread for some stupid...
No, a lot of trust in Siri's ability to get it right.
So then I'm too trusting. And then I wake up in the morning and she wrote, yeah, it was very expensive, but, one of the people on the trip was very well-to-do, and they kind of helped. And I was like, oh, my God, I meant to say beautiful and so expansive.
There you go.
With an A. There expansive. So then I wrote back to her, but because of the time difference, I had to wait like 24 hours.
That's horrific. I know that feeling.
It wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
So she was cute because she wrote back, I thought you meant expansive. And it was expensive, and it was adorable. The worst one that happened to me was, I don't know if I should name names, but someone I really respect, famous director, and her famous cousin.
Jeez. Okay.
And I was sort of after the cousin, and the director. Should I just say whose it is?
I don't know what the story is. It's hard for me to help you self-censor.
It was just really embarrassing because I accidentally texted. I thought I was texting a friend saying, I think I may be too,
don't say.
Too old or this or that. And I accidentally sent it to the friend of mine who's the director. And if you know, it was... oh my God, so embarrassing.
So wait, you texted her that you had a crush on her something?
Yes. Like I've done that before. You accidentally text the last person in the world you wish to read.
Because they're probably on your mind a little bit. You're probably thinking, like, I hope that person doesn't know.
I don't know why or how, but I just was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And you can't get it back and everything. It was fine in the end.
I wanted to get your take on something I've been thinking about. I was invited to APRA AMCOS the other day, and they wanted me to give a talk on supporting originality in Australian artists. And I was thinking that, so I spent a bit of time leading up to this thinking about what are the particular challenges with supporting originality, particularly in a market as small as Australia, where there's a lot of pressure to sort of be conservative and kind of take the tried and true and like make money and support yourself. And, and I was thinking that as older people in pop culture, you know what I mean? Like pop culture is essentially created, it feels like still for 20, 21, 22-year-olds. So in your 40s, 50s, like we are senior members of the pop culture constituency. That one of the challenges that we don't necessarily even recognize originality when we see it because it doesn't fit our preconceptions of what careers should be like. Mm-hmm. And that one of the most important things now is not siloing yourself off even in terms of medium. Like when we started, like you being an actress, me being a musician, like even you being a painter was like, whoa, you've got another whole thing you do? Yeah. That was kind of wild.
Yeah.
Whereas now everybody essentially is a brand of their own that can be expressed through a lot of different ways. And I was thinking about this rapper, YNG Marta, this Australian rapper who I really like. Do you remember him? He came to our house, really tall, 6-foot guy, Satan. Anyway, me, him, and Nina worked on something. But he's just created a video game.
Oh.
And it's so cool. I've just been watching it on TikTok. He's been launching the video game and stuff. And what you really find is that like a lot of these young people are just creative and smart, and it can be used in any way. And it's like locking someone up in one medium and trying to help them succeed. It's almost like with the Eastern Rosella's kid. If everyone was like, okay, quick, sign him to a 6-album deal, make him write more songs. Like that's obviously not the right thing for someone who's a developing creative talent. Keep your eye on them and support them, but who knows where that's going to end up.
Yeah.
But I just wondered in terms of whether it's your own career or younger people now, like how much of a shift that's been for you in terms of thinking of a career in media, a career in pop culture, being able to encompass so much more, like including this, having a podcast, whatever it is. Like, how have you sort of, for you, who came from like the 80s idea of teen stardom, basically, in movies, to now, to 2026, you've lived and evolved through so many shifts.
Well, going back to the painting thing, I think that that's still an irritating thing when you hear of an actor who paints. It used to be also an actor who's in a band, but now I feel like the band stuff, does it rub people the wrong way when there's an actor who's also a musician?
I don't think it does anymore.
I find it annoying when actors are painters.
Oh, you do? But now I feel like people are happy for anyone who expresses themselves in different ways. You can do a book of poetry. You can do anything you want.
I think it makes perfect sense that someone would be creative in different areas.
Yeah.
Firstly, that just even like a teacher would be creative, like Iron and Wine is a professor who also is musical. Like, I do think it's like the proof is in the pudding. If then the thing that you are doing is good, then that's something. Like Joni Mitchell's a painter and a singer, and she's good at both, and people accept it. I do think what I think the painting thing is, because one thinks of a painter as a certain lifestyle and a type of person, that like Joni Mitchell feels like a painter. And for me, I don't know. I feel like a painter just because I am. And I don't know what other people think of me. But I guess it's kind of also like, have you put in the time? There's this kind of, I think it's more the lifestyle thing, and have you earned it? Like, it's more of just a strict thing of like being hard on people, I think. Like, oh, now you want to paint?
So have you been able to just shake that off and evolve with culture, or do you still carry the judgment of your own side quests?
I never carried self-judgment about being a painter and an actor, although I see that people do. And I think that's not that it's not believable that someone would be creative in many areas, because that makes perfect sense to me, that you would be musical and a good actor or whatever. You might have both. I'm just saying that it's case by case. There might be some example where people feel it's someone gets an opportunity because they're famous, and then all of a sudden they have a beautiful gallery art show because that might rub people the wrong way. I've never had an issue because I feel like a painter and an actor.
But that's so amazing, because that is probably part of the recipe to why your creative career is still so vibrant. That you actually are better suited to the times now in some ways than you were to a more stricter time like the 80s and 90s.
Maybe, but I always felt more embarrassed about the acting because I kind of just fell into it.
Right.
But I do, I suppose it's affected me that it's easier now. And back then it was, I think it did affect me that you were like supposed to stay in your lane in certain ways.
Yeah,
but
like
not
this, like,
with the painting.
Yeah. But like this, like we would have been, to do this kind of thing would have been cringy in the 90s.
Yeah. And now it's only cringy because everyone always is like, oh, everyone has a podcast and whatever.
Exactly.
But we have been doing it for 6 years.
There you go. Boom. Mic drop. Alrighty. Well, beautiful babies. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
No immediate gigs in the near future.
Actually, you had the first podcast ever.
I did. Yeah. I did have the first. I'm the youngest person ever. All right. We love you. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in. We missed you. We missed 1 week because of work, but now we're back for reels every week, and we love you. And please subscribe and do all those things that you're supposed to do to help people.
Smash that subscribe button. All right. Love ya.
Together we're weirder, we're weirder together.